Right, hello. Okay, got a couple of people watching, so I'll make a start. Let's turn that mic down a little bit. I don't know how interesting this is going to be, but I've got to do a bit of stuff in the studio this morning, and I thought I'll just share it, and we'll hang out and have a chat and answer any questions you may have and whatever. So this one is all about playing live. This is a track which is up on screen. This is the one, if you watch my last couple of live streams, you may have seen me working on this one. Hopefully the sound is okay. If you can hear me, just stick something in the chat just to let me know that you're there. Hello, Inky's there. Nice one, Inky. And you're a nice one. Brilliant. So we've got a couple of people watching. I'm assuming you can hear me. So yeah, this track is called Trust, which I finished final mix last week of. It's going to be out on September the something. Oh great, you can hear me. Fantastic. Yeah, I think first Friday in September this one's going to be out. So I'm going to basically, I want to include this track in my live set, which I've not done yet because I've just finished writing it, and I'll go through how I would kind of take this and how I would play it live. I'll just talk through the gear I use over here, what I take out live with me, because I've changed it about 60 million times during lockdown. I think I've got it at a stage where I kind of like it, but I'll no doubt change it again. Let's just go through the gear first, actually. Before I get into that. So I've gone through various different ways and things of playing live, and I've got it down to what I like to do when I play live is hello, that's another viewer joined us. I hate having to set a lot of stuff up, but at the same time I want to have enough stuff to do, so I feel like I'm actually performing rather than just pressing buttons and launching clips and so on. So what I take out with me, this is as and when we can go and do gigs again without a socially distanced audience, which Christ knows when that will be. But so the Deluge, which is this thing here, that is the main brain of everything. That's got all the songs, so it's totally without a computer. I don't want to rely on a computer because my computer's not very reliable. So the Deluge has all the songs in it, and I'll kind of go through a little bit how I kind of get the songs into there and how I perform them, because there's a couple of different ways I do them. I then got this little mixer. This mixer is used mostly for all the gear, a lot of the gear in the studio, but I've got that for live so that I can plug extra inputs in. If I'm working with a vocalist, obviously they could go into the mixer, and then we just send a main stereo output out to the PA or whatever. In terms of then other hardware, I originally used to take the TP-03, which is having a little holiday, which is up there, which you can't see at the moment. I recently got the TD3, the Behringer thing, which I was going to take out with me because it's super light and sounds amazing. But then I kind of want to get things down as small as possible, and I've got the MB33, little kind of TB303 clone, which does basically the same thing. The only thing that's lacking that the Behringer has is it's not got any built-in distortion with it. But I don't use distortion on many tracks, so I'm going to try it with this. Right, Jonah has commented, would love to hear all of your thoughts and tips in depth for playing live with the Deluge. Perfect. Well, this video is for you then, because I'm going to go through all of that, how I play live, and the limitations, the things I would like to be able to do but can't do sometimes. So yeah, we've got the Deluge, we've got the mixer, we've got this for the acidy stuff, so I can change all the settings and so on. I then have an iPad down here, and I'm running on here. I've just got this last week, the Touch OSC app, which I'm still kind of getting to grips with. I just go onto that camera. What I've got set up at the moment is like a little mixer thing and some pads where I can mute different things as I play them. I've then got a launcher, which is this bit down here. I'm going to go OCD because that's not straight. There we go. A launcher with the different sections of the track, which again I will go through. I've also got an XY pad, which I'm still experimenting with. I've got 4 XY pads on here. One for filter, one for delay, one for reverb. Not using the other one at the moment. So again, I'll kind of show you how I use those. So we'll go back to that screen. And then I take that screen And then I have these drum pads, the Yamaha DTX Multi-12 down here, on which you can't see on the floor. I got a bass drum pedal and a kick pedal because I play that live. I'm a drummer basically, so I can't play keyboards very well. I can do a little bit on the Deluge, so a lot of the times I'm actually drumming parts, and I'll go through a couple of songs and I'll play a few of those so you can sort of see what I do. So when I perform live, it's a mixture of playing keyboards on the Deluge, drumming on the Yamaha pads, and then some clip launching, not lip launching, whatever that is, I don't know, clip launching, and kind of almost live remixes with stems and using the MB33 and so on. So let's just go through the simple ones first. So let's just take a track. Right, so this is one way I would play live, which would be to play the keys live, which you can't hear because I've got it turned down. Okay, so for example, this track, which is the first one I have on my Deluge. So what I do on the Deluge in terms of song names, I number them. So I got one and then the song name, rather than doing it alphabetically. I mean, it's whatever works for you. And then the second track is 2 and so on. Sometimes I will, if I know I'm going to do a certain number of songs in a set and I pre-prepare it, I will number them. So I'm just going track 1, track 2, track 3. I've got about, at the moment, I think about 33 tracks on the Deluge. Oftentimes when I play live, I don't like to have a pre-done set. I'll have an idea of what I'm going to start with and what I'm going to finish with. I will then go on to different tracks as I want them. So it's just, I have a little list with all the songs on. I think, okay, I've played that track. All right, let's quickly do track 20, so on. So it gives me a bit of flexibility. And with some of the longer tracks, which I'm going to go through in quite a detail today, it gives me the flexibility to make them as long or as short as I want. So my tracks from a production point of view, just bear with me one sec. My tracks from a production point of view tend to fall in 2 categories. I have like songs with a specific structure. So songs that will have, they're usually the ones that have got vocals in them. So they will often have, the vocals may come from a guest vocalist or a sample pack or whatever. So they will have a very specific structure, verse, chorus, and so on. I will sometimes do extended mixes of those, but very often I will just have like a 3.5 minute radio version. That generally is the version I will play live on those. And for those sort of songs that have a specific structure, I do want to recreate that live because that's the track that people may kind of know the structure. So for an example, this first track, which is one which is called Kings, what I basically do for those tracks is hi Dave, nice to see you. Yes, for those tracks, what I do is I decide what I'm going to play live. I will then take it into Ableton on the original production where I've mixed it, and will then take out the part I'm going to play live, and then I have a live backing track. So for example, with this track Kings, I decided I was going to play this keyboard part, which kind of goes like this. Okay, so I went into Ableton, took that pad sound out, and then just exported it as a new backing track, and then stuck that on the Deluge. And in how I'm doing that is then, I think with this one, I generally do these as a kit. So I'll start a new kit, and then I have like this was about 217 bars long, and then it's just, I don't know if you can see that. Let me just zoom out. You're not going to see it, but then I've just got it on.
Just smile if you're having fun tonight, and groove if you feel the push.
Basically, so when I play that, it will just play all the way through. I usually have them time stretched, just in case I do want to change the tempo, but generally on these I don't. So for example, something like this, I would play like this.
Just smile if you're having fun tonight, and groove if you feel the push inside. Move your body non-stop, take a breath and fill your glass up and raise your hands up. It's time to blink and wink to the girl with the glamorous things. Go on, this ship won't sink. We feel like nightclub kings. We feel like nightclub kings. We feel like nightclub kings.
Take the volume down a bit.
We feel like nightclub kings.
So getting a bit loud on the volumes there. Okay, so if I'm performing that song live, that's pretty much going to be the same every time I play it, because I'm just basically playing that keyboard part over the top of the backing track. I do kind of change it a little bit because I have it on the filter here, so you know I can change the sound a little bit on the filter as I'm playing it. Other tracks, then for example the next track, which is called Bounce. For this one, I will do live drumming. Let me just get my sticks. So again, what I've done with here is I've taken off the drums that I'm going to play live. John, that's a solid acid line. Yes, thank you. Nice. Did you say that's the MB33? On that one, I don't think that was I've not really used the MB33 much on my productions. It's mostly now the Behringer and the Roland one. But the MB3, it sounds as good anyway, so it would sound the same. So for something like Bounce, what I do with this one is it actually starts off with... so again, I think, yeah, so with this one I would do live drumming. So this is basically the backing track. And then in terms of the drums, if I've got a very specific drum sound, I will take the wave files from Ableton and put them into the Deluge, and then I will create a kit. For example, this kit here, I've got the kick drum on there, hand clap, hi-hats and so on. Sometimes I'll just use the internal Deluge sounds because they sound pretty cool anyway. And then what I've done is I MIDI map the drum pads to the Deluge, which is dead easy to do. If I want to map, all you do is press learn, hold down the launch pad button there, hit a pad on here, and it's going to MIDI learn it. So in terms of the drum sounds, they're all coming from the Deluge. There's none of the internal sounds from the Yamaha pads are being played. It just means it's one less thing to have to plug in when I'm playing live, because I want to keep everything as simple as possible. So I should have a snare drum in there somewhere. Okay, that's gone for some reason. Let's just remap that. So I'll show you how easy it is to remap. We hold learn, we press the launch pad thing there, hit that pad, and you've got your snare drum. So as I play this, it would go something like this. So that's me. You can just about see the pedal going, I think, down the bottom. Okay, and so on. So that one is live drumming, which I do on quite a lot of my songs because, like, I'm a drummer, so I can play that, and it works. What I do with this one is actually I start it off with, I think just took like a 1-bar loop for the beginning of the track. So I can, as I go into this, I can just keep that loop going for as long as I want. Oh. Okay, stuff that up. Which is going weird. I don't know, something. There we go. Don't know why it's going on automatically, but I can keep that loop going for as long as I want. Then when I'm ready to go into the main bit of the song, I'll just launch the second clip. And then on the last bit, I will do the same thing. I've actually got a loop with the drums in, so I can stop playing the drums, and then, I don't know, Danny's doing weird stuff there. I can take stuff out and go onto the next track. And then the other way I would play live using the drum pads is to actually play like one of the, either a melody or a bass part. So for example, this one. Okay, I've got the bass again on a kit. various different samples, which again I've mapped onto here. So I actually play the bass line on this one and some other melody stuff.
There's nothing you can do to take me away. There's nothing more to do to take me away. In fact, the love is gone, no more word to say. There's nothing more to do for you. There's nothing you can do to take me away. There's nothing more to do to take me away. In fact, the love is gone, no more word to say. There's nothing more to do for you.
Okay, so for that one I would be playing the bass line, then in like there's a breakdown bit where and then there's like another, and they're just basically just like one bar samples taken from the original production, put into the Deluge, and then MIDI mapped to the Yamaha pads. So yeah, I've got a couple where I'll play the bass lines, a couple where we'll play the drums, and a couple where I'll play keys on here. So they're the simple ones. I've then got other tracks that generally run to about 7 or 8 minutes, which, whilst they have a structure when I write them, it's the sort of thing that you can take in different directions when you're playing it live, one of which is one called Silence, and I'm going to do this with the new track I'm going to go through today. So what I do with these is I break it down into sections. So for this one, I've got like, I think the first bit is like the first 8 bars. So for example, this would start with just the kick and the bass. I've then got a bit of a template, which you won't be able to see. Let me just get this with the camera. Okay, so down on the side of the Deluge, if I can get that in the right place. Hold on. Here. Okay, so I have a kit that's got 8 different tracks on it. So my kicks are on this one. I have a thing called drums. I'm going to go through this in more detail in a bit. I have a thing called percussion, then I have bass, I've got melody, I've got any vocals, I've got any effects, and then other. So as I'm playing this, I can drop the kick out whenever I want. Bring that back in with some percussion. Okay, bring the bass in. The melody on this one is like an ARP thing. We've got some vocal sample nonsense going off on that one, I think. Yeah, that. And then we've got some effects on there. So that is like just a loop. That's like an 8-bar loop that I've taken from the original production. And then I have a second loop, if I can remember which one it is. I did this the other day, so I can't remember it. Well, then I have like a breakdown section, which is one of these somewhere. So I think this one I broke down into about, I think, 3 sections. I've got that main intro section, which is a large bit of the song. I've got a breakdown bit, and then there's like another second breakdown section. So what I can do with these is... Okay, on the Touch OSC app over here, I've mapped these little mute pads so I can mute stuff on here, so I don't have to go too much on the Deluge, because for this one I will actually play a synth part as well. So let's give you a quick example. So that's obviously going to mute the kick. That's the bass. Can bring those back in. This button will launch and unlaunch the 303, hopefully. Yeah, that's flashing. And then I'll bring the 303 in just on the mixer. I've got it on the wrong MIDI channel. It needs to be on 13. Although we seem to have a appear to be having a MIDI issue because... Is that the right channel? Oh, I know why. Right. I need the System 8 turned on because it kind of routes everything through that. That should. There we go. Right, so what I would then do is kind of bring that in gradually. Just bringing it in on the mixer. So you can like drop the kick out and you can just basically remix it live, which is pretty cool. And then what I do with this one is I play this like pad sound over the top. Okay, I'm hoping this makes some sort of sense. On then the second kind of tab on here, I've got this launcher bit. So when I press, for example, if I want to go to the breakdown on this one, I've got basically it labeled as intro, outro, and then breakdown. And then I can have like 3 different sections of the song in different bits. And this is what I'm going to do with a new track in a sec. So if I'm playing this and I want to go to the breakdown, now this is an 8-bar loop, so I've got plenty of time to launch that. If I just click on breakdown, okay, it takes me into this bit. And then I know this first one is intro, so when I want to go back into that, I'll click on intro. And then it should all come back in. And then if I want to go into the next section, which is this one, hopefully. Yep. Okay, we're into the next section. And then I kind of like play a... So this one's a lot of kind of keyboards, a bit of knob twiddling, and then a bit of kind of like... Bring a few more loops back in. Okay, so I can obviously manipulate the sounds of the 303. I can bring stuff in, drop stuff out as I want, and it keeps it fairly neat because it's based on those 8 sections. If I go then to the outro, I can kind of obviously fade the 303 out on the mixer. And then on the XY pad, I've got this map to the filter to filter everything out apart from I think it was the vocals and the effects. So as I take that XY pad down, you can hear all that going. And then if I want to go straight into the next track, I can kind of leave it wherever I want, load up the next track, press load, and then it will just load it at the end of the 8-bar loop. So I can kind of mess with that as a bit of a transition. Okay, and then we're into the next track. So I generally, when I'm playing live, I don't have any gaps between my songs. They will go kind of straight in, usually with like, I mean, if you're familiar with DJing, it's like a simple cut kind of mix. The limitation with the Deluge is without having all your songs on one like song arrangement thing, you can't kind of, which is just an absolute nightmare to do. You can't kind of blend between the tracks very easily. If anybody's got any bright ideas of how to do that, then let me know, because it's been driving me mad how to do that. But I'm happy with like a straightforward cut. And at the end of this, I'll do a little set, and you'll kind of see how I put it all together. Right, so that's pretty much how I perform. So what I'm now going to do is go through this track and have a think how I'm going to get this into the deluge and play live after I've had a drink. Right. So I've done a little bit of pre-preparation, because you don't want me just sitting through watching and thinking about, how am I going to play this live? So what I do, let's just open all these up first of all. I think with this one, I decided I was going to play this System 8 bass, which I recorded off the System 8. So that's the thing I'm going to play live, and I've roughly recreated that sound in the deluge. Which is on there somewhere. I've got to load that in somewhere. Hopefully I saved it, because I spent ages doing that yesterday and it's not there now. But anyway, so that's the bit I'm going to play live. So I can ignore that, and we're going to just mute that. What I then do is I look at all the elements of the track. Let's just open everything up, and I will put them into one of 8 different categories and group them. So we've got a bass. I've got anything that falls into melody, which is, there's quite a lot of arps and lead sounds in this, which is going to be a bit of a nightmare for doing live, but we'll work that out. I always have a separate track for a kick, because there's nothing better when you're playing live than just dropping the kick out and bringing it back in. People seem to love that. So I always have the kick always on a separate track. I will then have a group which is just called drums, which will be usually snare drums, claps, hi-hats, crashers, toms, that kind of thing, general drum stuff. I will then have a percussion group, which is generally loops. That could be hi-hat loops, shaker loops, just general drum loops, and so on. And you can see I've got all these colour-coded as well, so I know which is which. I will then have an effects group. Okay, so any of the sweepy, whooshy things, reverse cymbals and all that kind of stuff. Melody we've covered. There's no vocals in this one, but this one has got a pads section, so I'll probably put that into the, if you remember the labels I had over on the deluge, that will probably go into the other one. So what I've done, this is basically I saved a new version of the track in Ableton Live as the live version, so I can get rid of stuff without worrying about messing up my original mix and production. So first thing, I'm going to leave the bass in there. So really I've got to just find, I'm going to try and do probably 8-bar loops. I'm going to try and find the first 8 bars that will work nicely to start this playing. So let's just have a listen through a few bits first. And this is going to be really glitchy because my computer can't handle playing audio and streaming at the same time, so I apologise for that. Right, okay, so we've got a hi-hat loop and some pads going there, but if I remember right, so the kick comes in there. Now obviously I've got the ability to mute the kick whenever I want, so I could start it from there. What's coming in next? Okay, there's not a lot else coming in there. Right, so we've introduced these two in that loop. So that's mutable. Again, apologies for the glitchiness. Okay, we've got another lead sound coming in there, but that's going to be grouped together. But I'm not too concerned about that bit actually for playing live, because it's only like a little teaser intro thing. What we got here? Okay, so we've got the clap coming in there. I may actually possibly play the clap live. Right, so I think first 8-bar loop then, which we'll call the intro. I'm going to take from there. So what I'll do first of all is I'll kind of perform it in here. It is a lot easier on the deluge, Dave. Yeah, I know. Because obviously I can bring the kick in whenever I want, and that's the discussion thing. Yeah, okay. Right, so that should loop okay. So that'll be my first 8-bar loop. So let's just go over on to the desktop. My very messy desktop, I know, I need to sort it out. And start a new folder. So this track is called Trust. So I'm just going to do a folder called Trust. And then what we're going to do is, you can go away. Got to make sure that anything that I'm playing live is going to be muted, and that's just the bass for now. So all we're going to do then is just highlight that 8 bars, Control-Shift-R, and we're going to just export that first 8 bars. And I'm going to call it Trust. So I'm going to have that as intro. Wait for it to do its thing. I mean, it's quite a lengthy process, and setting it all up on the Deluge is quite a lengthy process, but you only have to do it once, and all the MIDI mapping and everything on the Deluge is all saved on a per song basis. So again, it's a bit of a pain in the arse that you've got to kind of map every song individually, but that does give you a lot of flexibility, which is always good. And as I say, once you've done it once, that's it. So the only thing that comes in on the next bit then is the hand clap. Now the question is, would I be able to... I could play the bass with one hand and do the hand clap, I think, sound with the other. I'm going to give that a go. I'll try it. I'll always put the clap back in if necessary. Okay, so let's listen to what we've got. Yeah, alright, I could do that. Give me something to play live. Back in. So this is the bass I'm going to be playing live. Right, so the next bit, let me just change this. Is going to be... So, question from Matthias. If you're preparing a live session, why not? The reason I'm doing it like this is because I'm not actually going to be using live to perform it. All these loops are going to be exported and put onto the Deluge. So I'm kind of actually exporting it through the master with all the processing and everything. So yeah, that's why. Hope that makes sense. Right, so we've got quite a lot of synths coming in here. The question is how I'm going to do this bit live. I think we may have to have extra sections. Okay, I could get away with that not coming in separately, I think. Like I say, when I play it live, it's not going to be... I don't for tracks like this, I don't want them to be identical to live. I want it to be slightly different every time. It makes it more interesting for me as well. Right, so let's make sure the bass is gone. I'm going to have that as... because nothing else comes in much from there. Okay. We're going to have that as the next 8-bar loop. Okay. So I'm going to call this Trust 1, because this links in with what I have on the iPad on the Touch OSC. So that's going to be like my first 8-bar loop. Yeah, so like I say, this is just basically exporting 8-bar loops that are going to go out into the deluge. Right. We've got this bit where this extra pad lead line comes in. Now we've got this big snare fill, which I'm going to get rid of for now, because I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to do with that. Right. This is a bit of trial and error. I may sometimes have to go back and redo these if it doesn't work when I get it on the deluge. But right, we're going to call this 2. Okay, hopefully this will eventually will all make sense. I mean, I'm probably making life a hell of a lot harder than it needs to be, but I've experimented with so many different ways, and this kind of works for me. You know, everyone has their own way of playing, but I like to make sure I'm doing as much as possible when I'm playing live without getting overwhelmed with it as well, though, because I want to feel like I'm actually performing. So for those, so I've got basically 3 or 4 8-bar loops there, so I can keep them going as long or as short as I want. I can bring elements in and out. So we've got quite a big breakdown, which I don't know if I want to do the whole breakdown or not for this. Let's have this. Okay, I could probably shorten a bit there, because otherwise I'm going to be standing around like a numpty on stage with nothing to do at this bit. Okay, no, the another question. The deluge. When I play live, if you missed the first bit of this stream, go back and watch it when it's up online, because I go through how I play live. I don't have a computer at all when I play live. It's all off the deluge and some MIDI pads and stuff, which I'll show you again in a bit. So yeah, this is just basically getting the stuff out of the computer so I can put it onto the deluge. Do I want a 32-bar breakdown? Okay, that's where the bass will come in. Right, I'm just going to see, because I could probably get away with that, but I want to see what it sounds like if I went... Just for now, if I went straight from that into... That'll work, that'll do for live. I'm happy with that. I'll try it. I may go back and change it later, but it's just a bit of trial and error sometimes. Alright, let's have a nice big breakdown for live. We'll have a big euphoric build-up. So that's going to take us to there. And that's going to be our whole breakdown, because I've only got... Yeah, that'll work. Right. So we'll export that bit. Just straight down. Yeah, I mean, if you're not aware of it, the Deluge is an amazing bit of kit. It's kind of like Ableton Live without having to have a computer. It's great. So I shall get my SD card prepared. Yeah, with the Deluge, without doubt, I say this on virtually every video I make, it's the best thing I've ever bought. I mean, I've had it 2 years now, and I still amazes me what you can do on it. And they keep bringing out new updates to it. So big shout out to Ian and Rowan for making the machine. And also asking me to do the tour that we were supposed to have done earlier this year, but it got cancelled due to the old corona. How's everyone doing, by the way? Are we all managed to stay corona free? This is going to take a while. There we go. Right, so there shouldn't be many more to do because the last section is pretty much sort of repeating the first bit, if I remember rightly. So going from that, I can probably get away with. I might just do one more loop there. Yeah, show the love for the deluge. So that bit is going to basically be the same as that bit, I think. So I can get away with that. All right, all I need then is an outro. If we do an 8-bar outro, that's not going to be too bad. And then I'll have a practice and see if I can actually play the damn thing, perform it live. Okay, so what's the bass doing there? So I can play that bit live. Okay, and then I can drop other bits out. I think, although there is a big whooshy swishy sound in there. Do I want that to be in it all the way through? I don't know. We'll try it. I might change it. Right, I'm going to just take that as an outro. I'll get through it fairly quick, hopefully, and then you know, sometimes I have to go back and change stuff because I'm still not entirely sure what to do about the. So we're going to call that outro. What to do about the big snare fill? And I'm going to take the clap sound out of this as well because I'm going to have a go playing that live. So it will be bass line with the left hand and the clap with the right hand, which could be interesting, but we'll see how we go. Right, so I just want to solo out. Where is the damn clap sound? There, let's solo that. So all I would do for this is I'm just going to chop it and just export the sample. And the reason I'm doing this is it's quite a specific clap sound I used on this. Sometimes I'll just use a standard clap within the deluge, but I do want the that. And again, I want it to go through the processing I've got on the master, so I'm going to, again, export it. And we're just going to call that Trust Clap. Right, so we should be good to go. This is where I always forget to actually put that folder onto my deluge folder. So this is the deluge folder. So we're going to go into the samples folder. It's going to create a new folder. Call that Trust. In fact, I didn't need to do that because I could have just dragged that in there. But anyway. Open up that folder. Stick all of them in there. Right. So I've now got all those loops on the SD card, which will stick back in the deluge. And I will attempt to get this other camera over on the deluge so you can see what I'm doing on that. Right. Sorry, this is where everyone's going to get motion sickness while I faff about with this. Right, bear with me. We need a bit more height, a bit more altitude. There we go. Right, I'm standing up doing this, so I'm sorry it's not straight. For anybody with OCD out there, I do apologise. Right, so I have already got the song in for this, which is number 30 something. There. Okay, but I've got nothing on it at the moment. In Songview, there's nothing there. I've just got a synth. Right, first thing I'm going to do is find the synth. And I think I saved it as... because I was trying to recreate a Stefan Bodzin synth for this. I've got that many things on here. Steel drum, strings. I got a horrible feeling I didn't save it yesterday. I'm sure I saved it. Actually, I feel I saved it under Bodzin. This is very exciting to watch. Let me go to my B section. Did I do it as Bodzin bass? There we go. I did save it. Cool. Right. Save that. Right. So that's the bass sounding. That's the bit I'm going to play. Right. So... tempo of the original track is 124, so we'll get the tempo up. And then we're going to create a new track, which I've already done, and we're going to go to kit, and we're going to go into a new kit, so we're going to press shift and kit. So we've got nothing on there. So all I'm going to do then is navigate to my trust folder. And straight away I've realised I've done this all completely wrong. Oh, Jesus Christ. I will redo it in a bit, actually. I've just realised I'm a complete idiot. Let me just go over to this. I'll kind of do it like this and I'll redo it. You don't need to see all this again. Sorry. Yeah. Those 8-bar loops, I needed to do them all separately. Oh, what an idiot. Oh, Christ. You can tell it's just like, yeah, whatever. Let me just show you what I should have done. I'm also not taking that clap off there. Right, so what I should have done is the first 8-bar loop. Which I think was there. Right, so what I should have done is each element separately. Okay, so, and this is where it takes forever. So I'm not going to make you go through all this, but yeah. Where are we? So, yes, the deluge is another question about, I couldn't get into the workflow of the Akai MPC Live. Yeah, I mean, the deluge I think is very easy to both write music on and perform music on, because it's very, if you're familiar with Ableton Live, you can pretty much get straight into it because you've got like the grid of notes for MIDI sequencing. I mean, basically it's got a synth built into it, 2 oscillator synth. It can do MIDI, it can do CV. You've got a drum machine in there, you've got sampler, looper, basically everything in there. I mean, it is an amazing bit of kit. But anyway, so back to this show. Yeah, what I should have done is this. So there's no bass in that bit. So first thing I would need to have done is the melody. So we should have soloed out the melody and exported it like that. Okay, so it would be... I can't believe I did that. What an idiot. Trust intro melody, which I can't type. Missed the M off. Okay, I'll just do a couple of these and then... In fact, what I'll do is I'll redo the intro bit and then I'll just bring that in rather than doing the whole song. So that's the melody. I would then need to do the same thing just with the kick. So we export that and that would be trust. Trust intro kick. Like you can see, it's quite a lengthy process getting it out of here. Yeah, that Jack, so that community guide is brilliant on the Deluge. It's a steep learning curve, I think, when you get it, and it's one of those machines you've got to keep using to keep on top of it. But I mean, I use mine all the time. And then we'll do the drums, solo that out. And so I would need to do this for every loop, every section I'm going to do. Percussion, have we got some percussion in there? Yes, there is a bit. Okay, solo out the percussion, do the same thing with that. Sorry, this is not very exciting to watch, but so look. Best videos to learn. The Deluge, my channel, mate. I've got a whole playlist. If I can find it, I'll. But if you go on my channel, which obviously you're watching now, there is a playlist of all Deluge tutorials. Start on there. Ron Cavanagaro, I never remember his name. He does some really good ones as well. But yeah, go watch mine. Right. So in this section, we've got no effects or anything. Right. So that will do for that bit. So what I need to do is then have these sections in folders. Let me get rid of the bits. I'm going to keep the clap. Yeah, Ron's are great tutorials. Not as good as mine, obviously, but, you know, they're close. Right, what I would then do is put a new folder in here and call that Trust Intro, and then I would stick all of these into here. Okay, and then I'll do all these others later. I would then have... that will be number 1, and so on. Yeah, no problem to do. Yeah, thanks for watching. Yeah, let's say this will be by the end of the day. This will be up online, and you'll be able to see the rest of it. And I'll just do this bit, and I'm going to do a little performance thing shortly, just because I can. Right, so let's stick that on the SD card then. Right, so just going to stick intro in there. Yeah, you can only get it direct from Synthstrom in New Zealand. I mean, there's a few second-hand ones doing the rounds, but I mean, it shows how amazing the machine is, because there's, you know, a lot of other machines you'll just see loads of them on eBay and stuff. You'd never get a second-hand Deluge, hardly, I don't think. Yeah, the only downside is, well, the good thing is the delivery is really quick. If they've got them in stock, they come within like 3 or 4 days. The only downside is you do have to pay quite a bit of import tax on it, which bumps the cost up. But hey, it's worth it. Right, let's go back over to Deluge, and I'll just put this intro bit in, and then I'll do the rest another time, because it's going to take forever, and you don't necessarily want to watch me exporting 8-bar clips. Right. So, we're back over onto the Deluge. Let's find the song. So, still got the bass. Exactly, Dave. Yeah. Why get a second-hand one when you could buy a new one? They keep their value so well, because, like they say, there's not many of them around there. Right. So, to bring this in to here. So this first, like this song here, is going to be the intro. My labels down here are relative to when I'm in the kit view. So we've got kick, drums, percussion, bass, melody, vocals, effects, and other. So go a new kit, and then we're going to navigate. So I'm going to load in the first bit on here, which my label here tells me is the kick. So I've got to go to my trust folder. There's the clap, and then I'm going to go into that other intro bit. So there is the kick. So we're 124 beats per minute, I think, weren't we? Got to make it 8 bars long, so it all loops nicely because we're putting an 8-bar loop in there. Okay, and then all we've got to do is just activate that pad. He says. It's gone wrong there. Okay, and we've got the kick in. I will put it on stretch mode, just in case I want to speed it up or slow it down. So then we've got the percussion. We've got a bit of melody, which is that one. Again, same thing, just stick it in there. Okay. Third one, again, just load it in. You're going to hold this pad here, press kit to browse, and the only other thing, what are we on? Hold on, I've done the wrong one there. No, this is percussion in it. That should be there. That should be there. That one I need to change. Go to browse. That should be drums, which is that. It is basically Ableton in a box. Yeah, it's as close as you'll get to Ableton in a box. So we've got no bass in the first bit, and then we did have a melody in there, which is there. Oh no, don't put it on the bass one because that's going to confuse my brain. There we go. Right. Okay, so that's the intro. Let me just save it before I forget it. So I can start this then any way I want. I might just start it with, you know, that. It sounds a bit like dun 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 da 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 dun. Name that tune. Dun 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 dun. Don't you want me, baby? Sorry. Right. So what I'm then going to do is over on the iPad, if I can get this camera back a little bit further, is I'm just going to map. Let's go back here. Sorry. Just about see it there. So I'm going to map these pads so I can launch and unlaunch these. Basically, it's just muting them and unmuting them, which are these buttons here. So all I'm going to do is for the kick drum first, which is this one here, which is labeled kick, the first one. I'm going to hold learn, going to press that button, tap on here. That goes white to tell you it's learnt, and then when I press on here, you'll see that is now, hopefully you can see, I don't know if you can see it on the light, but that is now turning that on and off. Okay, so if I do that for all of these, we've got drums, percussion, there's no bass, and we've got melody. So let's start the track like this. So I don't now need to be in that view to be able to bring these in and out. Hi Jack, nice to see you, mate. So we've now got that intro bit, so I can have open on here the bass part, which would be, oh no, I'm in the wrong scale there. Okay, so we're in A minor for this. All right, so I mean I can keep that going then for as long as I want, and then start to bring the melody bits in. Okay, bring the drum, percussion. And I can bring the bass in if I want by playing that, which is... I've not learned this bit yet. want to be an octave up actually? Yeah, go there. No. As you can tell, I've not learned how to play this bit yet. So I need a bit of work on this synth sound, but okay, so that's the bit I'm going to play. The question is, can I play that and drum at the same time? Right, let's just put that clap in there. I'm just going to do this as a hidden kit because I don't particularly need to be able to see that. Oh, what have I done? Get rid of that. New kit, and I need to go back. So that's the clap. I'm going to map that to, I know, this middle pad here. Which is obviously really loud. Right, let's see if I can play the bass and this at the same time. Probably not. That's going to take some practice. Yeah, I maybe set myself a little bit too much of a task there. So that's basically how I would do it. I would then go back into Ableton, go through all those separate bits again, all those 8-bar loops, and separate all the tracks out. So then this will gradually fill up. So there is intro. I mean, what you can do is name these as well. So if I kind of went into this kit and saved it, and then just call it intro. I have to call it, yeah, I'll call it intro trust because I've probably already got one called intro. Okay, the next kit down I would do as 2 and so on. And then over on the app over here, I would then map these to these sections on here. Just bring that around a little bit more. Yeah, that's just looking at the comments that are coming up. Yeah, I decided to go doorless. I don't like performing with a laptop. I know exactly what you mean. I hate seeing a laptop on the screen. There's nothing wrong with it. But I think when people are constantly looking at it, it does look like the classic thing of, yes, looks like you're checking your email. I approach performing from a point of view of I want it to look like I'm performing and not just pressing buttons and standing there and being on Facebook. And as well, I tried it a couple of times years ago with a computer, and you'd get there, you'd turn it on, and I'm on a Windows laptop, and you turn it on and it does a Windows update that takes 2 hours, and then you're stuffed, you can't play. And I've never had a problem with this once. This setup is like rock solid. Where was I? Mapping this one. So we've got intro here. So I've got a little launch thing here which says intro, which you may not be able to see, but on the top one there. So I'm going to map that to the coloured pad here. So I'm going to have this as the pink section. So each section will be different. Right. So again, all I'm going to do is learn, hold that launch pad thing there, press intro, and then that will launch that. And I'll do the same thing for each one, for section 1, section 2, and section 3. So that's pretty much it, really. I'm going to go through the rest of those tracks. So keep an eye out for this. Let's just go back onto there. Yeah, keep an eye out. This track's going to be out. The one you've been listening to me do bits on in September. I think it's something the first Friday in September, whenever that is. So I'll do a little set. I'll just like play 3 or 4 songs. just to kind of demonstrate. I'll do one with the keys on here, one with the drumming on here, one with the bass thing on here, and one with like a bit of everything, kind of the same thing as I've been doing here with these scenes. So here we go. So in terms of tracks, I don't know, you may have heard these before. The first one is called Kings. Second one is called Bounce, which was out a couple of months ago. Third one is called Nothing You Can Do, which was out about 2 months ago. And the last one is called Silence, which was out about 3 years ago. Quite an old one, but one that I love to play live. So yeah, let's give it a go. Sorry, just doing a bit of making sure my MIDI channels are correct. Right, here we go.
Just smile if you're having fun tonight, and groove if you feel the push inside. Move your body non-stop.
Sorry, try again.
Just smile if you're having fun tonight, and groove if you feel the push inside. Move your body non-stop, take a breath and fill your glass up and raise your hands up. It's time to blink and wink to the girl with the glamorous things. Go on, this ship won't sink. We feel like nightclub kings. We feel like nightclub kings. We feel like nightclub kings. We feel like nightclub kings.
See a bit better now.
We feel like nightclub kings. disco beat.
There's nothing you can do to take me away. There's nothing more to do to take me away. In fact, the love is gone, no more word to say. There's nothing more to do for you. There's nothing you can do to take me away. There's nothing more to do to take me away. In fact, the love is gone, no more word to say. There's nothing more to do for you.
Yes, Jack, you could be my new Bez, mate. Bring it on. Okay, I was only going to do 4 tracks, but I'm having fun, so I'm just going to keep going until you're all bored of it. You might know the next one if you listen to any dance music in the 90s. I'm sounding like a bad DJ now at a wedding. The buffet is now open. Yeah, Jack, Leroy from the Prodigy is probably cooler than Bez, but yeah. You could be Leroy, you could be my Leroy dude. Stuff that one up. I heard the big breakdown and come back in and totally stuffed it up. I ain't learned this one properly yet. Right, there we go. That was, yeah, this was not about me performing. It was supposed to be about me preparing a new song, but I got a bit carried away then for live stuff. So, yeah, that's about how long I've been on. Christ, hour and 40 minutes. Right, I'm knackered now. So I guess I should go and do something else, but I don't want to. But anyway, so thanks for watching. Thanks for all the comments. For those who missed the early part, who want to know what I take out live, it's Dad Portable. I've got the Deluge and the mixer, and that goes in this basically a cheap Stag guitar pedal case. So everything stays plugged in there. Just put the lid on, and then all I've got to do is take it out, power it up, a couple of MIDI connections, and we're done and we're away. So I take that out with me, the MB33, the iPad, and the drum pads. So these three just go in one bag. That carries by itself. That's it, 2 bags. Travel light, very quick to set up, very quick to take down, and all good. So glad you enjoyed that. If you want to watch it back, it will be up on my channel fairly soon. Jeez, I'm sweating. It's warm in here today. Right, I'm going to go back and finish off the rest of the preparation of that track for getting into the Deluge, and keep an eye out for that. And yeah, if you want to go and follow me on Spotify, give me a few plays on Spotify, much appreciated. I do have a Patreon account if you want to support me on there. Couple of dollars a month, $1 a month or $3.50 a month. It's, it's basically the price of a cup of coffee, but it keeps me going, keeps the channel going, which hopefully keeps you entertained and gives you some interesting stuff. And you get a bit of free stuff on there as well. I've not put anything free stuff on there for a while, but things like my Deluge project files and Ableton files and patches and that kind of stuff. So thanks again for watching. I'll see you soon. Cheers.